Hello friends, welcome back to the C.Gars channel.
Today we are bringing you another cigar review, and today it is going to be the Gurkha Cellar Reserve 18-year-old Cellar Double Robusto. Now this one comes in at 5 inches long with a ring gauge of 58. It has a Corojo wrapper and a Dominican binder and filler.
I believe that the filler is actually aged for 18 years.
That's correct.
Which is crazy. I'm starting to wonder if I've ever actually smoked a cigar with tobacco aged for that long, and I don't recall ever doing so.
I don't believe I have either, so I'm really intrigued by this.
Yeah, I mean, we've smoked plenty of cigars that have Dominican tobacco within it, so it's just very interesting to know what the difference is between the age.
For sure. Should we get a cut and lit and see where it takes us?
Let's do it. I have to say, they have put so much extra attention into making these bands. It's really beautiful, and it actually reminds me of a whiskey bottle. I think the text on the band itself just really stands out, and that shows that they want to educate people. And I don't know, it looks really premium, it looks different. I don't think I've seen a cigar band that looks this detailed.
Do you know what reminds me? I know you just mentioned about the whiskey bottle, but Blanton's.
Yeah.
The way their style is around the top, it kind of reminds me of that. I also, I would agree, by the way, I do like the band design and things like that. And I also like that they've got sort of the world headquarters on there with the batch number, the quantities, the blend strength. Just to mention on the blend strength, by the way, this one is rated at a 98%. So that leads me to believe this is going to be quite a punchy cigar, if anything. But
well, you say that, but on their website it says it's a medium strength. So it's very interesting. Not really quite sure.
With the Dominican tobacco as well, I think it's going to be quite creamy and quite sweet in moments. I don't know whether that back end of the cigar is going to bring a lot more strength, but yeah, I'm really intrigued by this. I think this is only sort of the maybe second or third Gurkha cigar that I've sampled. The first being the one on the podcast with Chris, and I mean, I was majorly shocked back then at how good that cigar was, and since then I've been wanting to get my hand on more. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I think it's going to be a great experience. Yeah,
I think there's a big thing when it comes to Gurkha. It seems that they're a very marmite brand, but as Chris said on the podcast, if you guys have seen it, he said he doesn't know why. It doesn't really make sense because it's a great brand. They put a lot of time and thought into it, which we clearly see. I mean, 18 years have gone into making this blend. And you enjoyed the one that you had on the podcast.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm intrigued to try it. I've had one in my time here, and that was the Spook XO, and wasn't keen on that. But that was because I was very new back then to the whole cigar thing. Didn't smoke cigarettes or anything like that prior to working here. So that kind of caught me off guard. It was a very strong, in-your-face blend.
Yeah, I feel like these ones have been sort of tailored to be a more approachable cigar, especially with the, as I say, I think it was the 15-year-old that I had on the podcast. But that was surprisingly approachable. It wasn't overwhelming in any aspect at all. And yeah, I'm just really looking forward to it. I mean, it takes a little bit of getting going with the almost closed foot with the taper on the end, but once you get past that, I think it's really going to open up, and I'm really looking forward to that.
I think first impressions on the first few jaws there, super smooth and creamy, really easygoing, very light. I'm very excited to get through this cigar. I have to say, it's a very thick cigar. There's a lot going on. It feels quite packed.
Well packed.
Full of tobacco. Obviously, this is a 58 ring gauge and 5-inch cigar. So I'm going to say it's probably going to take an hour plus to sit and get through this.
Yeah, I would assume so as well. And I just want to go back and reiterate your flavour notes. I really do agree. Obviously, the smoke output is going to definitely increase as I get past that sort of smaller aperture at the beginning of the cigar. But so far, it's very creamy and very mild. So yeah, it's setting me up for a good experience.
Yeah,
I think.
Really excited to get into this. But I think with that being said, let's get through to the middle third, and then we'll check back with you guys soon. Okay, so we've made our way towards the end of the first third now, and I have to say that I'm pretty impressed with this cigar so far. So firstly, let's talk about the construction. Construction for me, it's got an ever so slight tight draw, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. I think because of the vitola of the cigar, it holds the ash very well, and it really struggles to get the draw in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, I think I would agree with your point. I think there is a little bit of, what's the word, restriction there, but I think down to the vitola with it open and starting with that real closed, narrow aperture. I think it takes a little bit to get through.
Yeah,
it's starting to loosen up a little bit, but there is definitely a little bit of that restriction.
Yeah, definitely. The burn though is very good for me. The ash is holding on extremely well. I mean, you decided to shake this cigar off camera.
I was kind of trying to reiterate how strong the ash were, because that was another thing that we agreed on, wasn't it? But I was seeing just how much it would withstand, and it kind of just dropped off. So maybe something that I'll refrain from doing in the future.
Definitely. Moving on to flavor profile though, I wouldn't say there's all too much going on. However, I definitely think there's a prominent sweetness there. So for me, the main notes that I'm getting are cream, butter, and gingerbread. So the gingerbread has like an ever so slightly spicy finish to it, but it's just very slight. It's not really that intense whatsoever, but that sweetness really, it surprised me. I'll say that. It's a very good cigar, very impressive. Massive contrast compared to the first Gurkha that I ever had. And so I think we discussed it a little bit off camera, but that whole marmite thing, we think maybe people are picking the wrong Gurkha to go to firstly, so they might be picking one that's a little bit too intense. Pick something like this and you'll be thoroughly surprised, I can assure you of that.
Sure.
But yeah, that's my experience so far. Billy, what are you currently thinking?
So I kind of agree with you, especially with the cream notes and things like that. I would say, however, that there's a slight undertone that I'm getting that is kind of like woody, maybe like a pine wood. It's quite bright almost, if that makes sense. But yeah, to begin with, it was very creamy, very sweet. That's kind of dived off a little bit for me, and that woodiness has come through a little bit more. There's still elements of sweetness for sure, but it's definitely one that's changing ever so slightly for me. In terms of construction, obviously, I think you've hit the nail on the head perfectly there. A very, very good burn. Draw slightly restrictive, but nothing really too much to complain about there. But yeah, I think, to be honest, Lewis, I think you said everything, covered everything, and yeah, I somewhat agree.
One other thing that I think is important to mention is that it burns very hot, and we both agreed on that. Yeah. Even when you're holding the band, you can feel the heat very heavily. And so I think this is going to be one that potentially towards the end of the cigar, that last third, might become a little bitter.
Yeah.
But we don't know yet. We'll have to see.
I think I would assume that based on the notes that I'm getting with that woodiness coming in, I think it's going to bring an element of maybe coffee or another bitterness later on down the line. But as you say, we'll take them down a little bit further. We'll get through that middle third, and we'll check in with you guys and let you know what we think has changed. So we've made our way now to the final third of the cigar, and for the middle section, I have been quite surprised. I almost thought that sort of woody, bitter note would really ramp up, and it has kind of done the exact opposite. The creamy nature of the first third has come back for me. Okay. Towards the back end of that first third, obviously I mentioned that it was more pine wood and a little bit more bitterness, but now it's creamy and almost sweet again. The woody notes are still there, but very, very subtle in the background for me. We mentioned off camera as well about sort of the smoke output on these cigars. For me, it's very thick. It's almost chewable smoke. It coats your palate really, really nicely. And as you can see, the construction's held all the way through. Stack of ash is really, really firm. Draw has got a little bit better for me as well. So I think it definitely came down to that first little third of the cigar that is a little bit more tighter. But yeah, I've had no complaints, and I'm really, really enjoying this cigar for sure.
Cool. Well, I have to say my opinion kind of contrasts what yours is a little bit.
Okay.
So for me, that creaminess is pretty much, it's subsided, not fully, but it's kind of now in the background. So now I'm getting notes of like black pepper.
Right.
And so it's like almost like a spice, but it's not quite there. And I'm also getting notes of like grass.
Okay, like a fresh outdoorsy kind of.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are the notes that I'm mostly getting in the middle third of the cigar, which adds a nice contrast to the first third, that creaminess and sweetness there. But maybe mine will become a little bit more sweet towards the end. Who knows? Construction wise though, very impressed. Well, I say that actually, it did crack when I took the band off. It seemed to have cracked, and then I don't know if it's to do with the heat or if it was just me being heavy-handed, but part of the leaf has unraveled. So far, so good though. It's not caused any issues. Touch wood. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I think this cigar actually would be very good to the novice as well. If they want a longer experience, if they want to sit there for about an hour and a half, I think this is probably a good pick.
Yeah, I think it definitely tinkers on around about a medium. I think obviously in the back end of the cigar, it may ramp up towards that full. But for me, personally, and I think what you agree as well, it's a medium strength cigar. But the creamy aspects and the relatively easygoing flavour profile of this is making it very approachable.
Yeah.
You mentioned a bit about black pepper.
Yeah.
I'm getting it, but only on slight retrohales.
Okay.
So I'm not retrohaling a lot, but sort of the back end of each draw, I'm kind of trying to bring it in to see if it changes up anything, and I'm getting a little bit of that black pepper.
Okay.
But yeah, for me, predominantly, it's fairly sweet.
Yeah, interesting. It's interesting how everyone's opinion is so different.
It is, yeah.
Isn't it? And I think we both agree that it's a very good cigar, blended incredibly. The
very
tobacco,
well balanced.
Exactly, yeah. And I think what I really like about this is that it's easy to understand. Like, there are no notes where I'm like, is it this, is it that? I can pick those notes out quite easily.
Yeah, for sure.
And I really like that. I think a lot of people comment on the fact that we do actually pick out a lot of notes and other people do struggle. But as, you know, time has gone on since we started doing these videos, it has become easier to do that.
Yeah.
So maybe that's just us, I don't know. But
it's just repetition, right?
Exactly, yeah.
But it's as you mentioned, a very, very enjoyable cigar. And I think at this point, the only thing left to do is take it down, see what the third has to offer us, and close it out.
Yeah. So we've made our way through to the final thirds of these cigars now. Billy, what are your current thoughts?
So my final third has become sweeter, in my opinion. I'm getting a lot of like caramelized sugar, or like a burnt sugar, almost like the top of a creme brulee when you get the crystallization of the sugar on top. That's the kind of note that I'm getting. In the background of that, there's a little bit of leather coming through in terms of a little bit of bitterness. But overall, in terms of the whole cigar, I would say that this is an unbelievably well balanced and complex cigar. I've thoroughly enjoyed it from start to finish, and I mean, it's completely changed my mind on Gurkha cigars. I know it's so easy to listen to the rumors and what people think about them, but in my few occasions of enjoying a Gurkha cigar, I've absolutely thoroughly enjoyed it every single time.
Yeah, I definitely think that you shouldn't overlook Gurkha as a brand just because of what some people have said. These are very good cigars. Very, very good cigars. I think the flavor profile for myself is kind of similar to yours now. It's kind of brought that creaminess and sweetness back. It's just a back and forth between these notes, you know, that an ever so slight bitter, peppery note, the sweetness, like the creaminess. Wouldn't say I'm getting the caramelized sugar. That's an interesting one. Very good cigar. Very great blend.
So what kind of notes are you thinking about? What notes are you getting in the final third of this cigar? So
I'd say, for me, apologies for the car alarm that's going off. It's gotten kind of like a flowery note, like a baking flour, cooking flour.
Okay, so in the terms of flour and that baking note and these things that you're mentioning, what kind of noticed that because you mentioned something to me off of camera, which was quite interesting, something I've never heard in my life. What did you say you got?
Okay. I didn't want to say it on camera because it sounds stupid.
No, there's no wrong answers.
I don't know. I think that people might disagree with me. It reminds me of like a batter. Like imagine a battered cod. Like it's got the taste of a batter, which is where the flour comes from. It sounds absolute bonkers, but that's what I got, and it was quite nice actually. It was quite good. It makes me hungry.
It just proves again the contrast in each person's palate and the differences we're getting.
Yeah.
It's quite an elaborate cigar. It's quite a complex cigar in my opinion.
Yeah. It's burning very hot though.
See, I was going to mention this. I do think it's burning on the warmer side, but I think it hit that point and never really got any hotter. So like I was expecting towards the back end of the cigar for it to be almost unholdable. Really, really strong, really hot.
Yeah. But
it kind of just seems to hit one point and then just stay all the way through.
Yeah, I do think if you've got a cigar pick that you can pop it onto, definitely ideal.
Yeah, for sure.
Or one of the cigar holders that you can attach to the end of the cigar. Definitely a great idea. Even a pipe. You can pop it in the end of a pipe and smoke the rest. Probably enjoy it.
It definitely is going to be one of those cigars that you want to burn your fingers with. Like I'm going to try and get as much out of this cigar as I possibly can. Yeah,
I definitely think I would buy this. You know, if I was abroad, I think if I was abroad in a cigar shop and I wasn't sure what to pick, but there were a couple of brands that I knew about and Gurkha was there, I would definitely buy one of these.
For sure.
It's a very good cigar, very complex. There's a lot going on, but also it's not strong.
No,
it's just nice. I think this is a good cigar for like a mid-afternoon.
Okay, so with that in mind, what would you pair it with?
See, I was thinking about this earlier, and I think the perfect pairing would be an old-fashioned.
Yeah.
Something slightly sweet.
Yeah.
And cold.
I definitely think, for me, if I was going to choose like a neat spirit, I would definitely go rum. But an old-fashioned with like a Vatican 12 maybe would be absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
But I think the cigar itself will probably hold up to the majority of things, whether that be like a Highland whiskey or something.
Well, it's funny you say that actually, because I was thinking the exact same thing. So I was thinking that even something peaty I think would go really well with this. I mean, like the Isla or something like the Salsa.
Phenomenal drink.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
This is a very easygoing cigar. I think it will go with anything, but I don't know what else to say. It's a phenomenal experience, and really don't look too much into these comments that people make about Gurkha cigars. Try them for yourself. Try a couple of ranges, a couple of lines from their range, and see what you think.
The Cellar Reserve lines, definitely worth giving a shot.
Well, I know now that I'm going to pick up the 15-year-old. I'm going to try that. I'm going to pick up some more and try the rest because I'm really impressed.
So with that being said, obviously make sure that you pick one of these cigars up. The two of us have had very contrasting experiences with these cigars. Maybe similar, but the actual flavour notes have been very different. Yeah. So make sure to pick one up and let us know what you think to this cigar in the comments below for sure.
Of course. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like down below. Subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. It really helps us out. Notice that about 80% of you who watch our videos aren't subscribed. So please support us and subscribe. We also host the Sip and Smoke podcast, of which you'll see another episode coming out very soon with Carlos from Sheraton, London. Yeah. Fantastic podcast, fantastic guest. Really excited for you guys to see that. So make sure you stay tuned and enjoy the rest of our content. But until next time, stay safe and happy herfing. Peace.